use any overly aggressive adjectives to describe Dragon Quest I and II HD-2D Remake would be disingenuous, because the vibes of this game are anything but. Presented by PlayStation Days of Play. Following in the footsteps of Dragon Quest III HD-2D, the new combo title, which is set to release on PC and all consoles this fall, is so far shaping up to be every bit as cozy. Now, this game isn't technically in the cozy genre you'll see slung your way via TikTok, but the familiar turn-based, destined hero on a quest to save the kingdom JRPG formula does kind of fit the bill. The original Dragon Quest, published in 1986 in Japan and 1989 under the title Dragon Warrior in the US, was literally the prototype for the console RPG. Creator Yuji Horii was inspired by early Apple/PC role-playing titles like Wizardry and Ultima. And the original was Spartan by today's standards, with the player controlling a single nameless hero who embarks on a journey to defeat the evil Dragon Lord. In the remake, the single hero formula remains intact, which feels strange in today's world of 3 to 6 person parties, especially because the combat is turn-based, so I do wonder how that is going to impact my ongoing enjoyment. Even in games like Pokemon, where you're fighting with a single Pokemon at a time, you are able to switch between them to exploit enemy weaknesses. It makes me curious how much strategy, a key element in JRPGs, is going to factor into the later game. Which isn't to say I didn't enjoy the combat, I actually found it kind of soothing. The repetitive nature of random encounter, attack, defeat, continue exploring engaged my brain the exact right amount to keep me focused on the beautifully rendered environments. I particularly enjoyed encountering new monsters because the designs were all suitably vibrant. These games, which are indeed sold as a package, look fantastic. While the HD-2D style may have begun with the likes of Octopath Traveler and Triangle Strategy, the Dragon Quest remakes look a whole lot better. This is largely thanks to increased sprite size and blessedly saturated color palettes. In a world of muddy, quote-unquote realistic color grading, it's really refreshing to look at something that isn't striving for realism in any way. Now, neither of these games in their original release had much in terms of story, though technically the additional party characters in Dragon Quest II were the cousins of the heroes, so they actually had more going on than the blank slate party members of Dragon Quest III. But the remake definitely changes this, particularly in Dragon Quest II, where I very quickly fell in love with Peronelle, the Princess of Moonbrook, whose design was so cute and whose ability list included wolf summoning, complete with a description of how she takes a big breath and whistles as loud as she can. It's little details like that that go a long way in terms of defining personality. And I would be remiss not to mention how nicely the HD-2D sprites convey the majesty of the late, great character designer Akira Toriyama's artwork. His work on every game in the series has made Dragon Quest instantly distinguishable from any other JRPG, something Yuji Horii wanted from its conception. My only wish is that the HD-2D team would have found a way to use his character portraits in-game. I simply love seeing a face on a dialogue box. Despite being a JRPG sicko who rented anything that looked like it had a combat screen full of menus at Blockbuster back in the day, I'm absolutely late on Dragon Quest. My big confession is that I've never actually played one start to finish, and there was always something else calling my name around the time more contemporary ones were released. Chronologically, the Dragon Quest timeline goes 3 released as a prequel, 1, 2, but it feels like from a historical perspective, there is something to be gained from playing the games in original release order, as the key evolution of the JRPG, single hero, party with different abilities, to blank slate party with job system, plays out across the course of the 3 games. All of which is to say, I'm really looking forward to diving into Dragon Quest in earnest later this year. All reports point to it being 2 medium-sized RPGs, about 50 hours of game across both titles. It looks like Square could have another lovingly preserved yet polished just enough to satisfy modern gaming sensibilities piece of video game history in the making. Dragon Quest I and II HD-2D Remake is coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and Switch 2 on October 30th.